Hello, my name is Christopher Andry, and I'm going to talk to you today about the subject of the Banana Wars and the United States occupation of Haiti from 1915 to 1934. The country of Haiti sits in the heart of the Caribbean, sharing the island of Hispaniola with the Dominican Republic. Haiti was known for having very fertile land, and it was also known for having very cheap labor. These were both qualities that the business tycoons of America found very attractive and wanted. One main thing that these business tycoons and the American government despised was the amount of German Haitian citizens that were living in Haiti at that time. History tells us that in the early 1800s, hundreds of Germans migrated to Haiti with the hopes of starting new lives. The descendants of these German immigrants received Haitian citizenship, and it is because of that they were allowed to own land and also own most of the businesses in Haiti. Unfortunately, Haitian law prevented foreigners from owning land or businesses in Haiti. In November of 1914, the U.S. Navy Department drew up a proposal called a Plan for Landing and Occupying the City of Port-au-Prince. The proposal worked, and President Woodrow Wilson soon made the order to do so without even consulting Congress. This was the first step to defund the Haitians and take over their government. The second step was to the removal of all financial stability. The United States decided to send soldiers who marched ashore and removed all of the 24,000 ounces of gold from Haiti's bank, totaling $500,000. It was taken to the National City Bank of New York. Now, this bank is well known by the name Citibank. And this caused riots in the city, and people were very upset, and it left Haiti broke, but it made Citibank rich. Besides that, really, truthfully, the Marines met with little resistance because of the promise to restore order and provide aid. Unfortunately, this promise did not last long. Unfortunately, the Haitian government refused to change the laws about foreign citizens owning land. So America said, we nominate our own president to be the president of Haiti. Of course, at that time, the Americans chose Felipe Sudre Dorte Guanave to become the next president of Haiti. And as you know, he favored America and got rid of all the laws keeping them from owning businesses and land. It wasn't long before resentment began to grow around the land of Haiti. The people were upset that the American troops occupied every aspect of every town. The Americans started utilizing the Haitians as slave labor, not paying them fair wages for the work they did. Rebel groups known as the Keiko got together. Different factions that used to fight against each other joined in to fight against the Americans. They started a militia, and they believed that they could run the Americans out of Haiti. Martial law was then declared in Haiti. It was at this time that many of the Keiko were being arrested, and those that were not were slaughtered and killed in the streets, starting in 1915. One of the worst battles was held at Fort Riviere. It was an old masonry fort that held up by over 200 Caicos. They were armed with rifles, swords, and machetes, but they were no match for the Marines. Over 72 Marines stormed the fort, led by Major Smedley Butler, and took them by surprise in 1915. And it was at this time that 51 rebels were killed, with one Marine being wounded. This seemed to ignite a fire under the Marines. In the next 2 days, they said over 75 Caicos were killed, General Butler saying that they were slaughtered like pigs. Leader of the Haitian nationalists was Charlemagne Perrault. Charlemagne Perrault was at the top of America's Most Wanted list. Perrault was killed when Jean-Baptiste Courcey, also called the Haitian Judas, snuck Sergeant Herman Hannigan into the camp. Sergeant Hannigan received a Medal of Honor for this and was promoted to second lieutenant after he killed Perrault and took pictures of him on a door, and they sent these pictures all over the country. After Perrault's death, the Haitian morale to fight was lowered to a minimum. In the 19-year occupation, only 146 U.S. Marines were killed, but countless numbers of Haitians lost their lives. The U.S. Marines did not leave Haiti until 1934, and this was because of the anti-colonial sentiment of President Roosevelt. The U.S. government did remain in control of Haiti's finances until 1947. In 2020, Haiti was ranked 170 out of 189 countries in the world. One of the poorest countries in the world. It makes you wonder what Haiti would be like if Citibank returned that $500,000 worth of gold that would now be worth $14,614,800.